Hello, church. This is Hal Hamilton. I'm the Director of Mobilization for Cornerstone International, a mission sending agency with missions in about 20 nations. And we've been talking the past several weeks about Advent. It's that season, that expectant season of waiting and preparation before the Lord's coming. We celebrate Advent every year in the weeks leading up to Christmas and Christ's first coming, but we live in Advent every day, preparing our hearts and remembering that Jesus is coming again. And as we wait in darkness, but in the darkest of night, the light of hope has come. We wait in chaos and turmoil, but into the most hopeless situation, the Prince of Peace arrives. We wait in sorrow and lament, but joy comes in the morning. Advent reminds us of what it means that Christ has come. Even in our waiting, we can now experience hope and peace and joy and love. Love came down at Christmas. Love pulled on skin and moved into the neighborhood. Even though love has lived among us, our world is still very confused about what love is. So let's talk for a minute about what love is and what isn't. Love is not cuddles and nostalgia and warm feelings and hot chocolate and Hallmark movies and babies cooing. It's not tolerance or apathy or permissiveness. It's not primarily romance or sexual activity or passion. Love is most perfectly understood as a person. The Holy Trinity, God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, is the very definition of love. When we see the Holy Trinity beginning to react to one another, we begin to understand how love is. Love creates. Love sends and allows itself to be sent. Love chooses humility. Love does not demand that others come to his turf, but goes to them. Love dies. Love lays down its life. Love conquers all. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. This is that good news that was proclaimed by the angels to the shepherds for all nations. The ancient Christ hymn in Philippians 2 reminds us that even though Jesus was in very nature God, he did not consider that position something to be grasped and held on to, but he emptied himself and became a servant, became nothing, taking the very nature of a servant and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient, even obedient to death on a cross. This is the message of Christmas. Dietrich Bonhoeffer said it this way: out of love for human beings, God became a human being. He does not seek the most perfect being in order to unite with that person. Rather, he takes on human nature as it is. That is love. The ancient pagans and the modern pagans believe that it's about our hard work and our effort and our painful sacrifice that the gods with a little g would be impressed. But the one true God showed his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. What does love require of his disciples, those that would follow him, that would claim his name, that would belong to him? Well, that we love with the same love that we've been given. In addition to instructing his disciples to pray for the Lord of the harvest to send forth laborers, Jesus told his disciples three very significant things about how they were to be. Disciples of Jesus are to abide in him and receive his love. Disciples of Jesus are to receive the Holy Spirit and his empowerment for loving and making disciples of all nations. And disciples of Jesus are sent ones. Jesus said, as the Father has sent me, so send I you. In a few days, it will be Christmas. Our annual celebration of Advent will be over. But on the bigger stage of history, as we live in Advent, our Redeemer is drawing nigh. Soon the end will be here. Amy Carmichael, missionary to India, said, "We will have all eternity to celebrate our victories, but only a few short hours to win them." As you live in Advent, far beyond December 25th, 2020, preparing your hearts for the second coming of our King, will you do all that is in your strength to live in the power of the Holy Spirit as sent ones to make disciples of the nations? Merry Christmas, church. Thanks for allowing me to join you these 4 weeks. Let's live in love, obey the Great Commission together, and hasten the return of the King.